Hello. We're here for week 10 power rankings, and we are here with me, Bash, and with us. Uh,
Hey guys, it's me, Wait for 21, and this is our second video this week. It is power rankings.
yeah. Yeah, so this should be exciting. We got a double week of the Bash and Fair over here. So,
So yeah, you guys get a treat this week.
yeah. Um, so let's go into the power rankings, I guess. Starting with 14, we got both have Shadow. Now, I have Shadow down here still because he still has the worst record in the league, technically, and I mean he did beat me. I'll give him that, but he still has the worst record overall anyway, and even then, Malone, who's the only who's the closest one to him, is still I think played better than Shadow has this entire season. Uh, Pretty much that's what I gotta say. What about you?
Yeah, so I have obviously pretty similar rationale. Like it just comes down to like he's the only person in the league right now with only one win, and like his games have been pretty bad. He's done a pretty poor job at limiting differential as well with negative like negative 30s, I believe. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just not looked good, and just not a very scary team to play against at the moment.
Mm-hmm. I would also say that he played Milan for week 10, and Milan really took it like really kind of just pretty badly beat him, honestly. There wasn't really much that he could really do about that, and like throughout the entire match, it felt like Milan was in control for the entire match, other than the fact that he showed the scarf crook, but which is kind of obvious, but because of the scarf crook, he's able to figure out like not scarf. Well, how do I say this? He was able to maneuver himself around the crook pretty well for pretty much the entire match, and because of that,
Yeah, he definitely had a plan for it.
yeah, and Milan was able to deal with it very well. So that's why we still have Shadow down here, 14th. So next we have Malone here. Malone played Brad this week, and I believe so, and he just did not have. He just did not could not be Megalodios. Like it was so bad at the end. If I remember correctly, Megalodios just completely wrecked him at the end. And all that Brad
Yep.
had to do was just weaken down some of his team, like Mass Green, uh, down so that Megalodios could just sweep at the end.
Yeah, and that's really just down to the team and like maybe even a little bit the prep more than like how Malone played, but like you still gotta factor that into account when we do these power rankings.
Yeah,
So
of course, and of
yeah,
of
and then
course,
again he's lost 5 straight games, so like it's
yeah,
just not been a good stretch for Malone.
yeah. And like as well, you got to factor in that Brad now has a Megalodios. Like that's absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So yeah, Malone's gonna stay down here unless he is able to perform next week. I believe he'll just stay down here. Next we have you. I believe you
Yep,
played TJ, if I remember correctly.
yep, that is correct.
Do you want to talk about like what happened with that, or?
Um, I mean, like I don't know. I just kind of like did preserve um the Reunion more was the thing. I'm pretty sure. So
Yeah,
yeah, I just lost sight of my win counts. I think
yeah.
more than anything, I just
Uh,
got to a point where I couldn't beat my.
yeah. I was gonna say you didn't really have much to actually be able to break Melodic, and TJ honestly used Melodic phenomenally. We're not gonna take away from that because he really used that Melodic amazing that match, but um, yeah, you just didn't really have much to break that Melodic. And it caused you a big issue because I know you wanted to sweep with your you're trying to set up with all those mons with Flygon, Crawdon, and probably with Cephalon as well. and you just couldn't do that with Malak standing there because Malak is able to wall all three of them. So
Hmm. Yeah, I just didn't prep enough around Hayes specifically, I think, and just needed to preserve the Ryu class more.
yeah,
But again, that's just been losing settling count, which has been a common theme this year for me.
yeah, of course. So next we have both Brett here. Just a spoiler, we actually have the same picks for every single one of them. So
Me too.
we
Yep.
are on point this week. Power rankings are exactly the same for both of us. So we got Brett here, and Brett actually played me this week, and honestly, he made some good plays, I would say, but he just couldn't he I guess he just couldn't beat the Snorlax really, I guess. Um he was able to take out the Mega Glade, which is because of my over prediction, um but he just didn't really have a lot for my team, honestly. Uh and
Yeah, just the rest talks and Alex just ended up winning because he just didn't have anything that could really break it at the
yeah,
end of the game because his Darmanitan obviously got too well. So
yeah, and the crest was the only thing that was really standing in the way, I guess, at the end, which could have been annoying,
then
but
you got to Toxicate,
yeah, but I
but you
got
got to Toxicate earlier, so you were okay.
yeah, so I was fine. Also, the Darm, when coming into that match, I thought Darm was the biggest problem, which is why I brought so much. I brought Mon designated to actually deal with it, with like which was Rocky Helmet Gastrodon, because Darm is always scary. I love that Mon, and that thing is just terrifying to try to switch into. So I felt like I was able to execute what I kind of wanted from the get go. Other than the fact that the Mega Glade, I made the over prediction of Mega Glade, but that's besides the point. I felt like I was able to do what I needed to do in order to win. Pretty significantly, I guess too. And even like the prep where I actually didn't even bring a flying type move on Torn that week. I didn't bring stab at
Yeah,
all. So and we
you just
were
didn't need it, right?
yeah, I didn't really need it. I had the icy wind for Dundee. I think Dark Pulse for the crest and all that U turn and Heat Wave for Mega Aggron. I think was the set. So although I think like I feel like bring some unusual sets were able to throw Brett off, which is why that I was able to get the dub over him, and why he's still kind of down here as well. So I guess do you want to talk about that really that match or?
I feel like we kind of covered it. I think we can probably stand and move on to the next one.
Mm-hmm. So next we both have Static. Um,
Yep.
I believe Static played Vish, which is always not a fun match to go up against because Vish has been pretty dominating this entire season. But
Hmm.
um,
And Static just in general is in a tough position this
yeah,
year. Taking over for Dave a couple weeks into the season, so he didn't get to
draft.
pick the team entirely. It's not necessarily what he's comfortable with,
Yeah, of course.
but
I would also like
all things considered,
yeah.
he's just not been doing excellently.
Yeah, I would say that the smear goal was an interesting bring on his part with the parting shot smear goal. I thought that was really cool, honestly. Um, but he literally like his team I felt like was pretty badly dented by the Mesprit, and then Vish I believe this game brought like three Scarfers, if I remember correctly, or was it? Because I know he brought the Scarf
Well,
Mandibuzz. I think
the thing that really hurt him, Static really, is missing the high jump kick with the Metacham on the Garchomp.
that's
That
true.
really kind of ended the game for him. But so he was a little bit taxed out, but also like I don't know if he would have won.
I'm not
Had,
sure. I'm not sure either. Based on the fact that Mandibuzz was Scarf anyway, but like, because I think it did suck because Garchomp would not have been a sack for later on, but I think that Quillfish would have been able to deal with Weavile at the end, and Mandibuzz was always there to revenge Mega Champ for him, which was kind of the kind of its goal this entire for the match at least, because I remember him talking to me about it, uh, which is a very good tech I would say, on his part to bring the Scarf Mandibuzz and I believe Scarf Quillfish as well and Scarf Was it? No, it wasn't Scarf Chomp.
No, it was Zequelfish.
It was Equalfish. Okay, never mind then.
Yeah.
I'm remembering my sets wrong then. I know I just know that Amanda Buzz was Scarf for a fact because I remember how
Yep.
big it was about that. But
Scarf Mandibuzz was the important thing.
yeah, I do like I think it's static sets that he's been bringing this season have been really unique and different, and I kind of like that approach. But I think he might have also done this because of the fact that he has a brand. He took over this team uh mid what was it, like 4 weeks in or something like that.
I
Three.
believe it was after 4 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. So and he didn't get to draft his own team, so maybe he's still like a little uncomfortable with it. So he's trying to bring some heat to try to throw off his opponent kind of thing. And I guess against Vish, when Vish is the top of the pretty much at the top of the league, you got to bring some unusual sets to try to beat him out anyway. So unfortunately, it just didn't work out for him. So next,
All right, and then
yeah,
number 9.
you want
We have Ian and the human scollopedes, or in Bash's case, the human centipedes. And this past week, he played against Cody.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
He lost a very close game actually.
Yeah.
It was 2-0 only, which, like, considering how well Cody's been doing lately, he's been on a win streak. Like, that's really not a bad result. It's just that other people have been playing better recently than he has.
Of course. I think there was a part where I was really questioning. I think he was saving something in the back. I think it was it Electros? At the end game, he okay. Well, the most of the game was played really well. At the end game, I think Ian choked in a way. Well, not really choked. There was a 50-50 at one point, and with the Tapu Koko and the Crobat, I believe. In fact, and what happened was Crobat could either I believe stay in or it could have swapped out. I think was it. Let me just check real quick before I make any. Okay, so what the play was is that Hydreigon was in on Tapu Koko, right? And Tapu Koko's been going. Tapu Koko's been going for Dazzling Gleam on the Hydreigon, and here was the 50-50 because Tapu Koko could either go for the Volt Switch, take out the Crobat on the switch in because that's what's been the switch in, or he could go for the Thunderbolt. I mean, he could go for the Dazzling Gleam for the Hydreigon kind of thing. So I honestly don't know if this is really a 50-50 in the fact that he could have just sacked off Electros and gotten him on in for free. I don't know why Ian saved Electros for so long. He just could have used Sactor right there on that 50-50, which could have solved that entire issue to begin with. But that's still really the only problem I had with.
Necessary to save the Electros for anything.
Yeah, that's the only problem I had with him this entire for the pretty much the most of the match. Just saving that Electros when it was at like 12%, and it can't do much to the rest of it. Like it's not really gonna take a hit. Like the only thing it could take a hit from was a Cobalion, and that wasn't really the threat at the moment. Like Tapu Koko and Mega Gyarados were the ways that Cody was gonna win this game, and I don't know if Ian realized that Cobalion was pretty much walled by Crobat, and I believe he even Hydreigon too to a certain extent, with the fact that he was, I believe, Hidden Power Fire and Flash Cannon. So like, I don't know. I don't know. I thought Ian played remarkably for the rest of the game, except for that point in the match. So, yeah.
Yeah, and then Ian's record so far, he's not out of playoffs yet, and well, like actually, like nobody is except for Shadow. I don't think maybe Malone is as well. But yeah, Ian is 4-6 at this point, so he could still turn around. He could still end up making playoffs this year. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah.
He's got Commissioner Bowl next week, so we'll see how that goes. Could be a pivotal game for the season.
Of course, yeah. Yeah. Well, Ian's got to put in a lot of work though to get back in this, I guess. After some of these, I think the last couple he's slipped a little bit, especially from the beginning of the season. He was on the top kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. He's just kind of slumped a little bit.
Yeah. So I guess next we could go into Milan, basically. I
Yep.
I have Milan up here because at the moment between I believe it's from they have like about the same records from like I think like is it from like 11th to 8th or 12th to 8th. They all have like about the same record. So and honestly, Milan's been playing really well. He took over the team for Thunderflight, and Milan's actually done pretty well this season for that. And he absolutely I know Shadow's at the bottom of the table, but Milan just completely just controlled the entire game and was able to just pretty much I felt it was a pretty comfortable win, even though it was I believe only a 3-0 win. I felt like Milan was pretty comfortable throughout the entire match. So that's why I felt that he should be up here at 8.
Yeah, Milan's looked pretty strong with this team, despite like uh, the subpar caliber of it when Thunderflight was the coach of it. So he's really been able to turn it around, and I think that for that reason he deserves to be up here, but not quite in the upper echelon of coaches that are like at the right at the edge of the playoff picture, because like he is 4-6 still, which is like not quite the level that we would expect for a coach that's like going to make playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, I think Milan could make playoffs if he didn't start off with Thunderflight's team kind of thing, and he didn't start off with Thunderflight's record because I think with Thunderflight putting it pretty down far in the beginning of the season, left Milan trying to scramble to try to get back into this when he's done pretty well about it. But I don't know if he's really gonna be able to make the last slip. He can still, but it's gonna be really difficult for him to actually get back into the or get into the playoff picture kind of thing, like in the playoff position.
Mm-hmm. Then
Yes.
moving on to number 7, we have TCP and the Hartford Whalers.
Yeah.
This is a little bit low normally considering how TCP normally plays, but in week 10 he has lost to Zombie in his Victoria Victinius by a 4-0 differential.
Yeah.
And like overall, this has been kind of a down season for our defending champ, as he sits at 5-5 now as his overall record.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not looking too good for TCP at this moment, but I'm sure he'll bounce back, kind of thing. But it's gonna be really tight for him. He played Zombie. I felt like Zombie I thought Zombie brought a really good team to deal with TCP's team, which is I think Zombie won more in prep, which is why TCP is moving down. Um, I don't know if TCP had the right prep for the match, or maybe he just didn't expect the certain mons. But do think TCP could be. It's always a top contender kind of thing, but it's gonna be a really close playoff race. Is what I'm trying to say, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And like he did have some nice prep with the Cosmic Power Magic Guard Clef, but like it just wasn't enough because of like how the rest of the game went.
Yeah. Yeah. Gardevoir just broke through that, and Clef couldn't do anything about that. Uh, he didn't get up the
Yeah.
causing powers early enough, and Gardevoir just broke it down before it could even set up. So that's props to Zombie on that one. That's not really TCP's fault, but I guess maybe TCP could have set up earlier or just try to or set up I guess later, depending on how it worked. But yeah, Zombie was just able to blow right through the Clefable and pretty much I think like 2 or 3 shot it with Gardevoir, which caused Clef to not be able to win the game for him. So
Yep.
next we move on to me actually. So we already discussed a little bit, I guess, about what it was. But do you want to talk about that or that match or no?
I mean, we kind of already covered the match in general. I just kind of wanted to talk about like overall, like what's changed with your season since the last time I've been on PRs.
Mm-hmm.
You are back to a 5-5 record, which after like a kind of subpar start to the season is really nice to see. You were able to bounce back this past week from the loss to Shadow, which was like a little bit unexpected, but it's still good that you're able to get back to a spot at 5-5 where you are right at the edge of playoffs, fighting with TCP for that sixth spot.
Yeah.
And just because your record has kind of been on the upswing and TCP's has kind of been on the downswing, that's why I have you above him anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I put myself above TCP as well for the sort of a similar reason. Um, I think it's more about the fact that I'm kind of gaining momentum as I started out the season pretty slow, I would say. And TCP is hitting, I think, a little rough patch, uh, at least in this part of the season. I'm sure he'll get back up, but it's going to be really close. It's going to be super close between, I believe, a couple players for the last couple of spots or the playoff spots. But yeah, should be exciting the next couple of weeks. So you guys should definitely check it out.
Certainly.
So next we have TJ, and at 5. TJ's at a certain point he hit a kind of a snag, but I think he's kind of working it back up now. With I think week 10 he fought you, right?
Yep, he played me, and then
Yeah.
he won, but he hasn't won against me. So
Jeez.
yeah, so he is at 6-4 now,
Yeah. So yeah, so
which
TJ.
puts him in a good spot to make playoffs.
Yeah, of course.
Hopefully.
Yeah. I believe I'm TJ had the really good bring with melodic. He just couldn't really break it. He used it very well, I would say, because he honestly, I don't know if he really used it really well the entire season until this one. He really got the handle of melodic, which really is kind of scary for his rest of his opponents because that means he has another threat that he started to get a handle of. He already has the Mega Aerodactyl and the Kieran Black that are just absolutely terrifying. But then of course,
As well as the Metagross
yeah,
too.
as well as the Metagross, yeah.
He's exactly wrong.
And if you're running Scarfers to try to outspeed the Mega Aerodactyl or the Kieran Black, you're not. It's not going to really work out too well because that's one of the best ways to revenge the Mega Aerodactyl and the Kieran Black is to get Scarfers kind of thing, and Scarfers will not break this Milotic. And even setup is not hasn't break it doesn't break it because of Haze and the ability to have Haze or Dragon Tail. So TJ I think is starting to use Milotic a lot better, and hopefully we can see this continue. I believe he actually does play. I think Cody next week, so that should be a very interesting match, and
Yeah,
really could put.
he actually has a pretty tough remaining schedule compared to other people in the playoff bubble. He
Yeah.
plays Cody next week, and then he plays follows up with Brad week 12, and then his week 13 game is Ian, which that could decide a playoff spot
Yeah.
too.
So
So
that should
he
be.
does. So the one thing to keep an eye on with TJ is that he has a hard schedule, but as of right now, he is still in a decent spot to make playoffs.
Of
So
course.
it'll be very interesting to see what happens these next few couple weeks.
Yeah. I guess we'll go into the next one then. Zombie. We talked about him earlier against TCP, and Zombie actually just played very like he brought the really good prep for TCP. He was able to just break through the cleft before it could set up, and really just break through TCP's team, which is very bulky, kind of stally-ish, and props to Zombie for just breaking through it so fat, like pretty well. That Gardevoir really just wrecked his team. So props to Zombie on that. Anything else really you want to say?
I mean, Zombie's just been extremely solid this whole year.
Yeah.
He's been very consistent, and he just continued that this week. He is. I've never had a week where I really thought that he choked the game or his play was lacking. And I've never had a game where it seemed like he under prepped for something. So just as long as he keeps that consistency going, I don't see him really dropping out of the playoff race.
Mm-hmm.
And I could see him doing pretty well in playoffs as well.
Yeah. And I guess we could go on to Cody. I guess Do you want to go first on Cody or?
Actually been on quite a tear recently. He had 4 straight wins, which I believe might be the most in the ASL in terms of win streak.
Yeah.
And yeah, ever since he made that trade with Malone to change up his team, he's been doing extremely well. So props to him for that. This past week he played against. We already covered this game, but he did play against Ian, which I think that's probably the closest he's come to losing since making his trades. So
yeah. No.
yeah. Overall, I think he played that game fine. It's not quite to the caliber that we might expect of him, but he still played very well, and he played well enough to beat a coach who's on the edge of the playoff picture. So
Yeah. So Cody, I would say has gone. Cody got I don't know how he got that trade off. I mean, getting Tapu Koko with Cody is just absolutely terrifying. And honestly, he played the end game very well, which is why we still have him up here. That's how he was able to win that game. He was able to get that. The last, I think it was what was it? The he got the Mega Gyarados in and took a Volt Switch, I think, from Electros, or I forgot which one it was from. He double danced I think at the end of the game. Two Dragon Dances and was able to win because of that. Making a very ballsy play. I believe against the Electros because he knew the Hydreigon was Scarf at the end of the game, and he still stayed in and went for another D dance on the Electros. And was able to win the game because of that. So props to Cody for making that ballsy play and pretty much sealed the game for him to it allowed him to actually pick up this W. So.
Mm-hmm. So it'll be interesting to see, if Cody is with this, updated team, right?
Yeah.
Because his remaining schedule is TJ in week 11, Static in week 12, and Ash yourself in week 13. So
yeah,
we'll have a few chances to see some prospective playoff coaches seeing if they can beat Cody with this new team.
Yeah, I also would like to say, because Brad and I were actually on call during this match because we were watching it on call, and it was so crazy because I was literally talking about it how he was using that Tapu Koko as a trap for him, because basically what would happen is if Tapu Koko was in, Hydreigon was in. Hydreigon was Scarf and could go for the Earth Power, but if he went for the Earth Power, Mega Gyarados got a free turn to set up, and that would pretty much be GG at that point. So, he was just waiting for the entire time for that to happen, and that's how he finally got off the last two D dances and won the game. Honestly, because he set a trap, which eventually worked out for him. So, yeah.
He's playing the long game.
Yeah, he really was. Which is terrifying to think about, to be honest, because it's so tempting to take out Tapu Koko. But you got to look beyond just the Tapu Koko and looking at the Mega Gyarados as well, because that core right there is very threatening. Even though Tapu Koko adds, or the Electric Terrain adds to that Gyarados weakness, but yeah. Next, I believe we're at Brad. I think.
Yep, with the top two.
So
so we have Brad, who is the only coach to have beat Vish, which is our top coach at the moment. But yeah, Brad is 8-2. He's doing very well for himself. I'm not sure whether he's clinched playoffs yet.
I don't think he has.
If he hasn't, he's certainly on the way to doing that.
Yeah. I would say that Brad, now with the Megalodios, is absolutely terrifying. His team, I think Brad's team just became so much more scarier to deal with. I don't know if anybody really wants to play against him anymore, because it's going to be so difficult to prep for Brad's team, and with his capabilities in team prep as well, it just makes it very difficult to try to beat Brad after getting all this momentum with his new team. Believe what was Brad's Brad's losses came from, I think, was it Zombie and
he has 2 losses on the season,
Yeah.
and one of them is to Cody. I don't remember the other one.
Was it to Cody?
Uh,
I think it was Zombie's the other one. I think. Yeah, Zombie was the other one. So both good coaches, but now with this new team, it's going to be that much more difficult to actually take down Brad. And I feel like he's going to be on a run for the rest of the season, which is kind of scary.
mm,
Do you,
yeah, so that'll be, and I believe that could we get like Brad and Cody end up as like the 2-3 seed? We could have that as I believe a round 2 playoff matchup.
oh, that could be really hype, honestly.
Yeah, which like that would be obviously an extremely fun game to watch.
Yeah. Do you want to take it on to the first number one though, or?
Yep, number 1 we have again for it seems like same coach we've had up here for forever. It's Vish with the Winters V Vials. And this past week, he played against Static. He played, pretty well, and he got a 3-0, and that's really been the story for most of the year with him. Apart from his one loss to Brad, he's just been extremely dominant this year, and it's just been, even with all the coaches, trying their best to prep outside the box to surprise him and manage to beat him with something, it just hasn't happened. He's just been extremely solid, even in the face of having this target on his back, being undefeated for the longest time, and then just still being at the top of the standings.
Yeah. Bish has been absolutely phenomenal this entire season, and it's probably just gonna get worse. So he's gonna stay up here until he's probably gonna just stay up here until something significant happens, kind of thing. I don't really see him moving much from this spot at all, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
So
he's just been,
yeah,
as he said, just dominant this whole year. So
yeah.
it's something.
So
I don't know. Something pretty drastic would have to happen for him to, lose that spot.
Yeah. So
in terms of his level of play.
Of course. So I believe that will be it for this Power Rankings video. There's not many weeks left of this, I'll tell you that. So yeah, definitely check it out next week. I don't know who's doing it next week, but we'll see. But thank you all so much for watching. Definitely leave a comment in the description if you disagree about our power rankings or agree. Let us know what your thoughts on them are. Yeah, so thank you all so much for watching.
If you have not done so already, go watch Transactions.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Now, go do it. All right.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.